New York Times global health reporter, and he's written a new book called Zika, the Emerging Epidemic. Donald G. McNeil, Jr., welcome to the Big 550 KTRS here in St. Louis.
Thank you very much.
First of all, how worried should we be overall? I know that's a loaded question, but there's only a handful of cases here in Missouri from people who've traveled abroad and came back. What are the chances of this being a disease that we catch from mosquitoes if we just stay here in Missouri?
It's not that great. I mean, the mosquito that is known to carry it all around the rest of the Western Hemisphere, the Aedes aegypti mosquito, is most heavily concentrated in Florida, the Gulf Coast, and Texas, and parts of Hawaii. So that's where the CDC is most worried about transmission. It's found farther north, in hot, wet summers and stuff. That doesn't mean that there's lots and lots of them, and it's not clear how much local transmission. The mosquito has to pick up the virus from people and then transmit it to other people. So unless you have a lot of cases, you don't sort of spin up a big viral whirlwind and create an epidemic.
Why are we hearing about Zika now? Where did it come from, and why is it such a story now?
It came from Africa. It was discovered in 1947. It's made a sort of long, slow progress around the world to Asia, across the South Pacific. It was when it turned up in Brazil. It created a big epidemic in Brazil, but it's a mild disease, so nobody was too worried about it. And then 9 months later, all of a sudden, mothers in northeast Brazil started giving birth to lots and lots of babies with microcephaly, and that was a complete shock. And they figured out that those mothers had had Zika virus about 9 months before, and realized that, in rare cases, it has this absolutely devastating side effect because many babies are die in the womb. Others are born with, tiny brains, unable to, blind or deaf, or clearly going to grow up with developmental disabilities. So for pregnant women, it's an extremely scary disease. It's a little like German measles back in my youth. It was always a mild disease, but it could kill a baby or create devastating birth effects.
Donald McNeil is our guest. His book is Zika, the Emerging Epidemic, a New York Times global health reporter. How many children are we talking about who are born with the Zika virus in Brazil?
They're still confirming cases, but it's close to 2,000 now that they have confirmed. And there have been reports of more like 4,000 in Brazil. It's turning up in Colombia, in Panama, in Puerto Rico, in a number of other places. Smaller numbers in each one of these cases, but it's a very real thing. It's a very real danger. Pregnant women should do everything they can to avoid being in areas where the virus is being transmitted.
It's a very.
And they should also avoid men who might possibly have it.
We'll get to that in a second. It's a very specific mosquito, right?
Yeah. The main vector is Aedes aegypti, which is the yellow fever mosquito. There's another one called Aedes albopictus, which is the Asian tiger mosquito, which is more common in more of the United States. But it's not known that that's a very efficient transmitter of the virus. It's known it can carry it, but some mosquitoes transmit a whole lot better than others, either because the virus builds up to higher levels in them or because they just like to bite humans more. Aedes aegypti really likes humans. Aedes albopictus will bite horses or dogs or birds or whatever else is around.
Okay, so let's get to how we get it. If you get it and you're not pregnant, it's a mild annoyance and it goes away.
Yes.
Okay.
Generally.
How long are you affected with it if you're just stung by a mosquito?
Usually not more than a couple of weeks. I mean, usually the virus is gone from your blood within 10 days to 2 weeks, and then you build up immunity. You build up antibodies, and you're immune. So it's better than malaria. It's better than dengue. It's better than yellow fever. It's better than chikungunya. It's better than a bunch of other mosquito-borne diseases you might have heard of.
You mean better as in not as lethal?
Milder, yeah.
Milder,
exactly.
Okay, right. Okay, so if you are pregnant at any point in those 9 months and you get infected with Zika, are you guaranteed to have a baby who was born with the Zika virus?
No, but the risk is high enough so that it's something absolutely to be avoided. There have been several small studies, but there's been no giant study that's really confirmed that. The small studies have made estimates anywhere from 1% to 29%, which is almost a 1 out of 3 chance. So it's a risk nobody sensibly wants to take.
If the husband is infected with the Zika virus and impregnates the mom, their baby has a chance.
Correct. Or if the mother is already pregnant and the husband gets infected, it can be passed on sexually. That's a known risk.
Right.
So
So is it only sexually? Is it blood? Is it tears? Is it saliva? Or do we know?
It's blood and semen. The virus has been found in saliva in small amounts. It's been found in breast milk in small amounts, but kissing does not seem to be a risk. Breastfeeding is not a known risk, and the advantages of breastfeeding are so high that WHO says women should still breastfeed, even if they have Zika. It's really sex and blood. Yeah, it's happened from blood transplants, for example.
Donald,
blood donations. Yeah.
Donald McNeil, our guest, his book, New York Times Global Health Reporter, Zika: The Emerging Epidemic. Okay, what about a vaccine?
20 different institutes or companies are working on them. The best hope is that one will be ready in 2 years at the earliest. And this summer is, if there's going to be a big outbreak in the United States, this summer is the most likely time because there will be zero immunity here, and so the vaccine will come too late.
Once you are infected and you build up antibodies and you become sort of your own body takes care of it, then you don't have to worry about it going forward?
Yes, as far as we know. I mean, like with chickenpox, like with measles, like with smallpox, once you've had a disease, you're immune to it. With those diseases, we know you're immune for life. With Zika, it hasn't been studied for the lifetime of anybody, so we don't know, but there appears to be long-lasting immunity.
There's a big fight going on in Washington, D.C. over funding for Zika. What is the fight over, and what do they want all that money to go towards?
Well, the money needs to go towards vaccine research, towards mosquito control, towards public health warnings, possibly towards treating some people who get Guillain-Barré syndrome, which is a rare and possible side effect of the virus. But it's mostly mosquito control, and it's not known how much money is eventually going to be needed because it depends on how bad the virus gets. But the argument of the CDC and others is, look, if the Republicans are saying, well, use the money we've given you for Ebola and, we'll come back and consider this again in October, the CDC is saying, look, the problem is now, July and August and September. By the time October comes around, we're already going to be deep in the problem if it gets out of control, so we need the money now. So it's a battle essentially over timing, and then a lot of other political riders, like things relating to pesticides and relating to Planned Parenthood and stuff, got attached to the bill, and that just
right. Okay, so it's not too much of a concern in Missouri, but what about California? What about Arizona? What about Florida? What about Texas, Louisiana? Some of those
all those places definitely, with the possible exception of Arizona. Yeah, Southern California. It depends on where you find Aedes aegypti mosquitoes, and the CDC has maps. You can look and see them, but so it's basically that the deeper south and more tropical the climate is, the greater the danger.
How much of this is going to affect the Olympics?
Well, it's already affecting the Olympics, in that everybody's talking about it, and some people are dropping out. The World Health Organization argues that, look, there's pregnant women definitely should not go. Anybody who is having sex with a pregnant woman or a woman trying to get pregnant should be extremely careful. If they get it, they should, practice safe sex or no sex until when they get back.
Mm-hmm.
But for other people, August in Rio is winter in Rio, and winter in Rio is not Jack Frost and snowstorms. But it's more like 70 degrees. But there is a much lower mosquito disease transmission risk. And also they've had a big outbreak in Rio, so there may be a certain amount of herd immunity where people can't get the virus because they have antibodies in their blood, so those people can't pass it to mosquitoes who could pass it to tourists. But nobody's quite sure. But the WHO's argument is that it's not worth canceling the Olympics over. The danger is not that great. But except for pregnant women, who absolutely should stay away.
Donald McNeil, his book is Zika: The Emerging Epidemic, New York Times Global Health Reporter. If I'm infected with Zika, do I know I'm infected with the Zika virus?
Actually, probably not. 80% of people never have any symptoms. And the danger is that, yes, you can pass it to your wife or girlfriend that way.
Yeah.
If you are infected and you do get symptoms, they're usually a low fever up to 102, a rash. It's kind of a hive-like rash rather than a chickenpox-like rash, and bright red eyes, conjunctivitis, and sometimes pain behind your eyes, or bright lights hurt your eyes, and headache, and muscle aches and pains, and joint pain.
Donald McNeil, Zika, the emerging epidemic. What's the one thing we should be most worried about?
Pregnancy. I mean, pregnant women should absolutely avoid, being in situations where they could get this virus, whether from mosquitoes or from people.
Gotcha. Donald McNeil, the New York Times global health reporter, Zika, the emerging epidemic. Donald, thank you for your time.
Thank you for inviting me.